morning. Again, my name is Aaron Clodfelter. I'm the Senior Engineer with Operations and Maintenance Division. So I just want to talk a little bit about some permits that you might run across while working in the county right away. This isn't a comprehensive list, but I just want to give you a general awareness of the permits that we issue and some of the other permits that other divisions issue as well that you might need while working in the county right away. So first of all, so talk about some of the permit types, the application processes of those permits, and then some inspection procedures to keep in mind. So first, an operations and maintenance, kind of our catch-all permit is our general construction permit. This is, a lot of times this is used for people fixing their sanitary sewer connection in the street, but for the development folks, you might need it ahead of development. If you're going out doing some surveying, we have a traffic control only provision, so if you need to have surveyors out in the road, you might need a permit for that if you needed to set up traffic control, and also potentially some tree removal that occurred, ahead of time, and also just doing some traffic control. And also ahead of development, a lot of times you're doing core holing for geotechnical explorations, and you would get a general construction permit for that as well. And then also potentially just installing some utilities by a private party. This isn't a utility company installing those utilities, but it'd be a private party doing it, perhaps on behalf of the utility. So the next major permit we have is our access permit. So this basically is a permit that allows connection to a public road from private property. We check site distance, drainage, geometry, and then also our planning division reviews those as well to make sure that it is compatible with any land use issues, such as the number of accesses on a road. If you're accessing an arterial versus a local, there's going to be different requirements, and planning reviews those. We also allow temporary construction accesses through this permit as well, and we're more lax on the requirements that go into our access permit provisions. For temporary access, this is going to be ripped out. So some things like site distance might be waived if they're going to have traffic control during the while it's being utilized, or something like that. So another permit that we issue is a utility permit. This is only for utility companies, and the reason why we separate that out is because Oregon allows utility companies to operate their facilities in the right-of-way free of charge. So we've separated that permit out specifically for them. Some other permits to be aware of, well, they're not issued by our division, but our permit may have a requirement to obtain those permits. A signal shutdown permit that you would obtain from our traffic engineering division. If you're operating in the urban area where your traffic control is going to impact a signal and you have to shut that down, you need to obtain that from traffic engineering. And we would review the application that comes in. If it looks like your traffic control is going to shut down the signal, we would make that a requirement prior to issuing our permit. Another one is a road closure permit. So if you needed to block a road for a period of time, you'd also obtain that from our traffic engineering division. And one other one is our noise ordinance that the county has through our Health and Human Services. So if you're operating at nighttime, you would need to get authorization from them, and we would require that prior to issuing our permit as well. So another permit for working in the right-of-way is our facility permit. I believe you're all aware of that permit. And that takes the place of a lot of these other permits. It's kind of all-encompassing. And Paul Seitz is here today, I believe. Where are you, Paul? There's Paul. He's our facility permit coordinator, so he takes in a lot of the applications and issues a lot of the paperwork for that. So the application process for operations is pretty straightforward. Submit your permit application along with drawings and the application fee, and we review those, give you conditions, and then once they're ready to issue, then we'll let you know, and you'll have to submit usually a deposit, insurance certificate, and other information that might be required. Some of our permits are issued down at the Building Services Division. When you apply for a single-family dwelling, an access permit is automatically set up through the Building Division, and at that point it's determined whether or not operations will handle that permit, or potentially it could be on a private street, and then Building Services would handle that. And so in traffic engineering, they're pretty straightforward also. They have their applications online. You can submit those directly to them. And all of the applications, operations accepts email applications, so you can do most of the things. You don't have to come into our office to submit applications, and we also take credit card over the phone. So technically, you wouldn't ever have to come into our office to be issued a permit. Then the application process for the facility permit is a little bit different. So you have to get a notice of decision, letting you know what the requirements are going to be, and then go through a plan review phase, and then finally working with Paul to get that permit set up. The inspection procedures are all pretty similar. We want to know when you start work. We want to know when you need a form inspection, a pre-paved inspection, and then a final inspection. And all of our permits are set up on the IVR, so you can call those in, or you can do those over the web to schedule those inspections. For some facility permits, we have hold point inspections, so at various phases through the project. We want to know when you're doing certain activities. And right now we're looking at potentially setting that up over the IVR, so we could do that electronically as well, but that's not the case currently. And then if your permit is about to expire, you need to contact whoever the permit authority is. If it's operations, you need to contact us. If it's facility permit with Paul, you need to contact Paul. One other note I want to touch on is that the civil inspection portion for facility permits is back in operations now, so it had been engineering was handling the inspection of those. So that has been moved, so operations will be handling the inspections, and we'll have some new faces out in the field inspecting those projects. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. If you have questions, then you can contact me afterwards, and I'll give it back to Andy.